Good morning, afternoon, or evening. Your video is about to start. I wanted to remind you of our newer Wednesday, 1 p.m. live stream Q&A on all things Social Security. Visitors are welcome to post a question in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer it. It's on a first come, first serve basis, so please get there on time. Otherwise, if you care to be a member and get some different kinds of perks, feel free to click the join button below or just click it to learn about them. Anyway, I hope to see you Wednesday. If not, enjoy the video. Bye now. Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. I hope you had a great week. I was traveling, as some of you know, and I'm back after many, many days. I'm a little on the tired side, but it's coming along. So I just wanted to do a Sunday Social Security roundup for you as usual, because still did pop out the videos as they came up because it was a bit of a working couple weeks there. Okay, so on Monday, this would be the 21st, right? But I'm thinking I'm seeing here. The 21st, we went over the question of, is it easier for a 100% disabled veteran to be awarded SSD? And this was a draw from one of the discussions we had on our live Q&As on Wednesdays, which we will be having again, of course, this Wednesday at 1:00 p.m. Eastern time. I hope to see you. If you have any questions, you can post them in the chat. It's first come, first serve. On the 22nd, we went over the question of, oops, I just bleeped myself out of my list. Will my SSDI be less than what my earnings statement estimate says for full retirement age benefit? And it's funny because I hadn't really come before me as a question, and I didn't even realize it was kind of confusing. So I appreciate whoever put it out there, and I think another person might have also asked the same thing. Will the SSDI that you take when you're obviously under full retirement age be less than what some people might say, less than what my retirement would be? But you have to look at it in a couple different ways. So I touched on that, and then I think I even added another little addition to it because I thought it was still a little unclear and I wanted to see if I could make it more clear. Anyway, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. We'll see. But people are interested in that question, I think. Got a lot of viewers on that. Okay, so on the 23rd, and that must be Wednesday, we shared some kind of like a bunch of clips from one particular hearing prep session I had with a client. Just my questions asked, of course. The client wasn't in on it, not part of the hearing, but I wanted you to see some of the things we go over. And we go over kind of quite a bit of stuff, including what one can expect in terms of procedure at the hearing, as well as then what client and I can get into in terms of direct examination, what the judge might ask questions on direct examination of the client, the claimant client, as well as what might go on with questioning of the vocational expert. Something did come up after, and I really want to do another video on it. Someone, and this was Jen. Jen always comes up with great comments and questions and things like that. And she was discussing when I said, someone asked me about doing a sample hearing prep conversation with, or I should say monologue, with regard to a mental health claimant, because the one I did it on was not a mental health claimant. It was physical problems. And I, off the cuff, said, well, that would be, we do them with everybody because I want them to be prepared, more so they can be calm and know what's going to happen. I think they have a right to know what they're stepping into. So it's not always about, hey, let's go over what is your response to this kind of question? What is your response to that kind of question? When it comes to the mental health situation, it really depends on the case. Because as Jen properly pointed out, some mental health people that are so extremely mentally troubled, they could not work a full-time job, but they may be brilliant and can come off brilliant and prepped and perfect in a hearing. And of course, that's all true. So maybe we'll discuss that at a later time. Because when I discuss, there's a lot of things I won't be able to prep my mental health client on. It has nothing to do with the procedure and stuff, but I think they need to know what they're stepping into. But in terms of, let's say, and this is just a quick example, their memory is so completely shot. I don't really want to be giving them a 10-hour hearing prep session to make sure that they will remember some things. Because honestly, if memory is part of your impairment that you're saying, I can't do any job because I can't even remember one two-step thing, even if I do it day after day, that's not something I want to prep out of him. When normally you want people to try to remember certain things, not necessarily. I don't want to prep his poor memory out of him. I don't even know if it's possible, but I suppose to some degree it could be. And why would that be my goal, right? Other symptoms could also be implicated, like distraction. If a person gets overwhelmed with nervousness, I don't want to prep that out of them either. I want them to kind of be themselves because I need the judge to see what actually happens, and how they are. I don't want a false facade because we prepped, for a marathon. It just wouldn't be in the best interest of the claimant in his hearing. But anyway, so that was kind of fun. Interesting anyway. The next day, so what are we at? Thursday? This was a tip about someone had asked about it. If the mental health issue is paranoia, and the term was innocuous, which to me signifies harmless, if that is a good or a bad thing for a case. And I kind of discuss how it can actually be a good thing for a case, even if it is harmless or innocuous. So we go into that. Friday fraud law review, as always. This one was one of my own brothers in arms here, and it's an Ohio attorney was disbarred for unlicensed practice of law and stealing Social Security numbers. So he had been an attorney, then he wasn't an attorney licensed, yet he was still doing things such as giving advice, legal advice, when no longer technically a licensed lawyer. And then, of course, the Social Security component in that is that he was stealing Social Security numbers in order to pass himself off as a lawyer and get hired by law firms. Very interesting. Ironically, if he had just had the cojones, don't want to give any bad ideas here, but he could have gone self-employed and hung up his own shingle, perhaps. I don't know. I'm like, is there other checks and balances that would be out there? Because then it wouldn't be where he has to present a Social Security number to a client. I don't know. I mean, it would be illegal. It would be UPLing even more, but it was just surprising that he repeatedly tried to use fake stuff to get a job at high-paying jobs at law firms. And also interesting to see how long it took to figure it out because they didn't really double check. Interesting. Okay, and then Saturday the 26th, this was another tip. Can or will SSDI be terminated? During your extended period of eligibility, EPE, we have playlists on that, guys, as well as TWP, so you can learn what those periods of time are after you've prevailed in your beneficiary, so you don't break any rules pertinent to those periods of time. But can the SSDI benefit be terminated while in your EPE due to brief period of SGA? So we go into that a little bit. And that was Saturday. And I hope you had a great weekend and great week and a great upcoming week. I will be here. Well, 9 o'clock video tip will be coming out at 9 a.m. as always, Eastern Standard Time. And I will be here at 1 p.m. for lunch on Wednesday with a live session Q&A. So I would welcome all of you to join and ask your questions. The more the merrier, okay? Thanks, guys. I will talk to you later. Have a great week. Bye. It's still Sunday. Did you miss last week's Social Security roundup? Not this week that you just heard, but the one prior to that, and want to catch up? I'm attaching it now. Have a great day. Bye. Happy Sunday, guys. Excuse me. This is the Social Security roundup for the week of Monday, April 14th to Saturday, April 19th. I hope you all had a great week and that your weekend's going well. Happy Easter and happy belated Good Friday. Okay, so as you know, I am been traveling this week, so things have been a little different, but we tried to get everything out kind of timely. Had our live Q&A on Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time instead of our typical Wednesday, but it will be back to Wednesday next week. Hope to see you there. Ask your questions on Social Security. Okay, so Monday, April 14th, we talked about, and this is for if you weren't available and it might be of interest to you. That way you don't have to listen every day or visit every day if you don't want to, although I'd love to have you. Okay, Social Security news. This was about the new technology developments that now allow all kinds of claim applications via telephone. That was an announcement by the SSA, April 14th. new tech developments that now allow all kinds of claim applications via telephone. That is not exactly the same as identity verification. That might take place for some of those differently. That's a whole different issue. This is actually getting your application in so that you have your protective filing for that separately from everything else. Okay. April 15th, which was, I guess, Tuesday. This was, oh yeah, was sharing some hypotheticals in ALJ hearings, discussion about them. And this was a Q&A from a prior live Q&A session on those Wednesdays at 1 p.m. that I mentioned. And it's some things that people mishear or don't remember properly and misunderstand when it comes to the hypotheticals that the judge shares with the VE to get information from a vocational standpoint about the hypothetical people. But people confuse it all the time. They think certain things. So we clarify that a little bit. And I should mention that upcoming, I have shared the questions I ask under this particular situation that I did, where I'm actually asking questions to a claimant to prepare and discussing to prepare for hearing. So it's like a hearing prep, but you're only getting the questions from my mind. There's nothing, no personally identifying things. So it's just by way of example. But I thought that might be useful because some of you who don't have attorneys or reps that provide hearing preparation for you before the hearing, these are some things you might want to think about. And it's kind of boom, boom, boom. I wanted to kind of make it, it's like probably a half hour, but I tried to cut out all of the other friendly chit chat that goes on to get it as short as all that. That will be upcoming. I don't recall what day it's coming out, guys. It's not out yet. All right, so Wednesday the 16th, this was about a question concerning whether the SSD amount will increase as a spouse once. So a person is on Social Security disability, they're married, and now they're married more than 10 years. Will their own SSDI go up because they have a spouse perhaps who's working and paying into Social Security? So we addressed that question. The next day, April 17th, this was, I think this was also a Q&A from a live session that I pulled out to go over a little bit more with you. Whether CDR diary date changes once we hit 55. And we talk about that question, I suppose you'd say. The 18th, that was Friday, we had our standard Friday fraud law review. On this one concerned $1.7 million that one person was able to steal, an illegally present Nigerian who pled guilty to stealing the $1.7 million. Yikes, right? It's so funny. I touch on a very small percent of those things since I only put out one every week. It's pretty rampant. Okay. The next day, Saturday, April 19th was about, can a divorcee get divorcee contributions from an ex in addition to her new SSDI award? So she's asking, if I'm on SSDI now, I just want it, can I make it bigger because I'll have an ex? And she's probably thinking about spousal benefits and all that. And we go over whether or not she can or not. You might be able to guess at the answer. Anyway, so that was it for the week, guys. I hope you had a good one. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend and a wonderful Easter today. For those of you who celebrate. For those of you who don't, have a great day anyway. And I hope you have a great upcoming week. And I hope to see you Wednesday, well, every day at 9 o'clock, the new video tip, but Wednesdays at 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 12 Central, 11 Mountain, and 10 Pacific. Have the live Q&A session up to about 2 hours, sometimes less if there's less questions. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye now.